Chuck Reaves for some 3 decades. He's been a prominent member of the National Speakers Association, and he's in the Speakers Hall of Fame. He is applauded and lauded from coast to coast in numerous foreign countries. He was a former top salesperson at AT&T, where he was the highest producer out of 1,100 account executives. Chuck spent 10 years as entry-level technician before going into sales. He was former president of a $30 million bakery. That had to be interesting. He's the author of 7 books. He is a periodic instructor with Vistage Corporation, and he pioneered advanced sales tools and processes, including the Chief Sales Officer Curriculum and Kaizen for Sales. I mentioned a member of the Speakers Hall of Fame, and he is a certified speaking professional. He's spoken in all 50 states and 7 foreign countries. He's also a decorated Vietnam veteran. Please join me in welcoming from Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Chuck Reaves.
Great, well done. Thank you. Nice to be introduced by a pro, isn't it? Well, good morning. I'm from the South, I'm used to better. Good morning. I was afraid Don may have put you to sleep with that whole intro thing. No one is ever going to pay you what your products and your services are worth. No one is ever going to pay you what your products and services are worth. They'll pay you more than that or they'll pay you less than that. And it's based on what they think it's worth, and we control their thinking. There are 2 ways to sell: value-added selling and commodity selling. Commodity selling is built on the premise that all things are equal, therefore I'll just take whatever I can get for my product or service. Value-added selling is built on the premise that I can differentiate my product or my service. Now listen closely. I can differentiate my product or service in the customer's mind, not necessarily in reality, but certainly in the customer's mind, to the point where the customer will give me whatever I am asking for my product or service. The only kind of selling that I teach is value-added selling. The reason is I don't believe in commodities. I've never seen one. Every product, every service can be differentiated to the point where the customer will give us whatever we are asking for our product or service. So the topic this morning is going to be value-added selling. We're going to talk about why price is never the real reason why the customer said no. Even though the price objection is the most common, the most frequent objection that any of us salespeople ever hear, it is rarely, if ever, a valid objection. How long do you have to stay in sales before you hear the price objection? About 10 minutes, the very first call. The first thing the customer is going to say is the price is too high. You know why they do that? It's out of habit. And the reason they continue doing it is because out of habit, salespeople continue to drop the price. Isn't that interesting? What if we could come up with a different response other than just cutting the price? So this morning we're going to talk about sales. How many of you are in sales? Could I see your hands? There are 2 kinds of people in the world, those that know they're in sales and those that don't. So let's try that again. How many of you are in sales? How many of you are in customer service? Can an entry-level employee in your organization chase off your best account? What's the answer? Yeah, there's 2 kinds of people that know about sales. Those of us who know it and those others that don't really realize it. Us salespeople are the ones who figured out why work 2 jobs. If you've got to do your job and sell, why do that? Let's just go be salespeople. My goal this morning is to change the way you think. I want to stimulate the way that you think. My favorite compliment, if you can't think of anything else to say after my presentation, and we bump into each other, my favorite compliment: you made me think. You made me think. And as sales professionals, that is our role when we're dealing with our customer, whether it's B2B or B2C, whether it's outside or inside. Our job is to cause the customer to think. The single most important function of sales is to teach. The single most important function of sales is to teach. Let me ask you a question. Is it in your customer's best interest they do business with you? Is it in your customer's best interest they do business with you? What's the answer? Yes. If you think that, you may not succeed. If you believe that, you will have all the success you could possibly manage. Customers will challenge us. Well, if it's in the customer's best interest that they buy from you and they wind up buying from somebody else, what is the only plausible explanation? ignorance. They just don't know any better. And why are they ignorant? Because we didn't take the time to teach. The second highest authority in America, which all of you know is Oprah, said it best when she said, when we knew better, we did better. When we knew better, we did better. When the customer knows better, the customer does better. That's what sales is really all about. There are some misconceptions about sales. Who are these salespeople? How do they do things?